All right, it's all over, but in retrospect, a good season for the New York City Football Club, a step forward. And now it's all about the roster. There have been some decisions which we'll review. There are some big decisions coming up. And now there is a gentleman who will help make those decisions. A new sporting director was named just this morning by the football club. We'll talk about all that and more coming up on NYCFC Views Live.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. NYCFC Views.
Collins approaches the shot, and New York City wins the first MLS Cup on their first try, and they're going crazy. Tiene tiro y gol! Gol! New York City es el campeón de Major League Soccer!
The sickest New York City FC podcast. It's gonna be sick.
Well, New York City had their attempt for a second MLS Cup thwarted over the weekend. I'm Glenn Crooks. There's Roberto Abramowitz. We were down in Fort Lauderdale at the Chase Stadium presenting the radio commentary for this one, and a wild game at the end. And Inter Miami, they're just scoring boatloads of goals against everybody. So what is that now? 13 goals in their last 3 playoff games. And it's remarkable the way they play, but we're also going to go and talk a little bit about the way they go about things as well. It's really a dichotomy for me, Roberto, when I think about Inter Miami CF, because some of the things they do, I mean, the Alba assist on Allende, this kid Allende, well, he's not a kid anymore, I guess, but Allende, the goals he has been scoring of late, including the 3 that night, they were all different, all very special to get a hat trick in a big game like that. But welcome, Roberto. I guess a little postmortem here, and then some other tidbits, because there's a new sporting director on board. I'm wondering how quickly you went to ChatGPT or Google when you saw Todd Dunivant as the new sporting director. Come on, admit it.
I didn't. I didn't go at all. I mean, New York City's press release pretty much had it all, so I didn't need to do any of that.
No, it did. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. But a Stanford
What
grad.
did I miss?
Well, I just went back and listened to a couple of interviews he's done, and including very interesting. The Sac Republic, which is where he's coming from, the USL Championship team. Mm-hmm. They have a really good podcast. I mean, it's really well done. They have kind of a studio setting, and they take it very seriously. And at the beginning of the 2025 season, Todd Dunivant was a guest, and it was a pretty long interview. And I picked out a couple of things that I think we can talk about. But let's get back to the game a little bit, and then we'll get to Todd Dunivant a little bit later. Yeah. He's replaced David Lee, and David Lee's got some work to do with 14 players on the roster and preseason 30 days away or so.
And he's going to need a new coach, too, now that they've informed Kerry Zavagnin that he's not coming back. And he's out of the team after like over 2 decades.
Well, to be fair, it's been told that it's mutual. Now, I'm sure it's mutual because he was told you're not getting the head job, and he probably just doesn't want to hang around and be an assistant. Or maybe he was sacked. I don't know. Either way. It did say they mutually parted ways. So I think we should give both parties
PR speak.
Well, maybe, or maybe that's really how
and I don't know what happened. I don't know. It could be any one of those 2 scenarios. They're very plausible, no doubt. But when there's a mutual, when they say they mutually agree to, something went down.
Well, like, I don't know Kerry, but like anybody that's come across him, including David Lee, because he said these words, what a fantastic individual. So nobody ever denies the part of what a guy is. 26 years with Sporting KC as a player, and then academy, and I mean, he just worked his way up. And I'm sure he'll land somewhere, but that's got to be tough when you're in a place for that long, or you look at it like, I get a fresh start now, and I think that's part of it too. You have to look at it that way, I think.
Yep. At that point, all you can do really, the healthy thing to do is look ahead. You don't look back. You take a moment to mourn the moment if it's something that you didn't want to do, and then you've got to, once you mourn it, you leave it behind and you start looking ahead and you start writing down the things that you really want to do, and then you go from there and you make sure that you materialize it.
Yeah. All right. So Inter Miami 5, the New York City Football Club 1. It was 2-1 at the half. And if we look, so look, Raul Gustavo, I'm just going to put it out there. And my co-commentator, Matty Lawrence, felt strongly that Pascal Janssen should make the move at halftime to bring in Hannes Wolf, move Kevin O'Toole to left back, and then begin that way in the second 45, because he felt, as someone who was analyzing the game and has played fullback or central defense over 650 times as a pro, that Gustavo just didn't have it on that day, and Allende was killing him. And it was 2-1 at the half, but the move was made. Hannes Wolf came in at halftime, but he came in for Johnny Shore.
Right.
And Gustavo stayed on board, and he still had difficulties in the second half. There were a couple where
every goal, maybe except the last one, New York City's pushing up and they're really trying to do something and they get caught on a counter. Yeah. Right. You can say the same thing also for the fourth goal. Right. But the first 3 goals, the type of mistakes that New York City made are just stunning. And Pascal talked about it after the game, saying, calling the team naive. And it was just, it was mind-boggling to look at the goals and then look at them on replay and start to dissect them and go, they haven't, and Pascal said this, right? They haven't done this all year long. But it was horrific defending. Just the lack of awareness.
I don't know about all year long, though, Roberto. I heard him say, I think he's more thinking second half of the season. He hasn't seen any of this.
Probably. I'll agree with that. That's probably fair.
Well, here's the deal. So their first goal, they go up early in the game, and Tadeo Allende, who he's had a fantastic playoff, obviously with 3 consecutive braces, and the third game is a hat trick.
Yeah.
So when Busquets has the assist on this one, there's no pressure on the ball.
Yes.
The rule in defending at the back, no pressure on the ball, drop, and keep the game in front of you, unless you play with a unit that is trying to pull an offside trap. You know how many teams do that now? None. It's because you have to trust the referee. There's too much going on. So you drop to keep the game in front of you. And Raul Gustavo, nor the rest of his mates really, Justin Haak was on his side. They responded a little bit too slowly. And I'll tell you, it was a hairline decision too, I think, if Allende was even off or not. He was a little past the shoulder of Gustavo, as it turned out. But I think
I think Tavon Gray, who was further back
exactly
on the other side, I think Tavon keeps him on side.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely correct. So Allende, and then it's kind of an awkward moment. An unfortunate kind of ricochet off Gustavo. Allende gets it back, and then I'm telling you, he'd a bullet past Fried. What a shot!
It is. Anytime you get beaten on the near post, you got to take some responsibility as a goalie. And I realized that the velocity of that shot, was something special. But, that's why you get paid the big bucks. That's why you're the goalkeeper of the U.S. national team. And I'm sure that he would think he should have done better on it, although it was a very difficult shot. You force him to go far post. You've got to force them to go far post.
Second goal. Now, this was the one that decided the game. It was the game-winning goal and may have well decided the game. And it was the New York City Football Club just getting into the scuffles, the arguments, the tomfoolery, the housery, everything that was going on in that particular moment, where
housery,
all that stuff. So we all saw it. I think anybody watching this or listening saw the build up to this. There was a foul, and Miami's going to get a free kick, but then there's a surrounding of the official. They want cards. Maxi Moralez is involved. Then Messi gets involved. I mean, Maxi Falcone, once again using his hands and getting into the neck area of an opponent. It's not the first time.
Jordi Alba grabbing Maxi by the back of the neck for an instant.
So all this is going on, and then set piece goal. But I want to play this, Roberto, because I was happy to see you repost it with your own little comment, because it got an enormous amount of feedback. I put up a clip of myself and Maddie in particular, my co-commentator, Maddie Lawrence, doing the radio commentary. And I think this description kind of gives you an idea of how he felt in particular observing Inter Miami, their antics, and how the referee didn't manage it very well. So, Shane, if you would run this clip, it runs a little bit, and then we'll talk a little bit about it afterwards. Because I'm, of course, anybody on the Miami side is accusing me of sour grapes. I didn't play the game, man. I called the game. I was a commentator. Yeah. Look.
The reason they're called fans is because it comes from fanatics, and that's.
So, depending on which side you were, it got like 40,000 views and I mean, it was crazy. I didn't really anticipate that. But anyway, all right, here we go. Here's how it sounded.
There's 4 or 5 Inter Miami players round the referee now, and it only should be the captain, which is Lionel Messi, and John Freeman's letting them do it. He's letting them tell him how to referee this game, and that was a problem. We talked about it before the game. The referee's not quite up to it. Not quite up to refereeing figures as big as this, and they're telling him what to do and how to do it.
Well, the free kick taken by Busquets. He goes crossfield to Alba. Alba now will serve towards the back post. Header and a goal! And after that long delay, and it's the second consecutive brace for Tateo Allende, and Miami goes up 2-0. So New York City distracted immeasurably by that delay. You would have to think and believe after that restart, New York City had plenty of time to gather themselves, did not, and it's 2-0.
But this is what Inter Miami has won. They want to cause chaos, because then you get caught up in their chaos, and then they have the quality to pick a pass. And the ball into Allende is absolutely magnificent, and the header is even better, because Matt Freese is a very good goalkeeper. And this is quite a nice height for the goalkeeper, but it kind of loops over Matt Freese's left arm. It's a terrific finish from Allende. But this is what Inter Miami want. They want to thrive on the chaos. The referee bought into it, but then so did NYCFC as well, Glenn. It's going to be very, very hard to come back. I said before the game, you need to limit Inter Miami to 1 goal to stand any chance of beating them. They've got 2 already, and we're only 24 minutes in.
That's why Maddie's one of the best. And
he really is. He really, really is.
So it's, you know what? I didn't even, that's the first I've heard. I've listened to that clip half a dozen times. And the PA announcer is still like announcing what happened. The PA announcer is speaking while they're taking the set piece. They took it kind of so quickly, and New York City was a little befuddled. And but boy, and you talk about naive, and it's unfortunate.
And it really was.
Yeah, I mean, it was.
New York City needed to have somebody on the ball to make sure the free kick doesn't get taken until they've set up, and they didn't. And also, I mean, I spoke about this before the game, Glenn. How is it that John Freeman is on another New York City FC game? It was the 5th game this year that John Freeman is on, and the second time in 4 games. He was on the first Charlotte game for New York City. New York City won the game 1-0. The yellow cards in that game were 5-0. 5-0. All 5 yellows on New York City. And I remember that we talked about it, and I'm not saying that New York City maybe didn't deserve the yellows, but there was a lot of things that happened in that game that Charlotte deserved yellows and didn't get any. And you have something that is that one-sided, and you put them on another game again when you've got a roster of 17 or 18 or 20 officials? How does that happen?
Only 2 officials should have been on that game, Drew Fisher or Chris Penso. That is it. They're the only referees, in my opinion, and I have referee friends all across the league, but I think those are the 2 that are best suited to deal with Miami because it's chaos down there, man. And as Maddie said, they referee the match. Sergi Busquets, he's refereed more matches this year than anybody in pro because however many games he's played, he's refereed all of them.
It seems that way.
Yeah. So it's real. Now, Roberto, I want to tag this with, and then we'll get back to the game. But so the next day, so we got back very late. We came back after the game, but I woke up in time for Chelsea Arsenal. So I'm just watching that. And all of a sudden, Enzo Fernandez is in the other end of the field, Chelsea. Chelsea's gone down a player, I think, at this point. And he's faking an injury. He's feigning an injury at the other end, and played at the other end. And so so let's crank this up, Shane, because it's a little difficult to hear. I rewound it and just took the audio of Graham Lasso, who played over 450 games in England, played over 30 games for England, and he's a back as well, like Matty Lawrence. And this is what he was saying about Enzo Fernandez.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with him. Again, it's just trying to waste some time, and it's so frustrating to see players doing this, unnecessary, but they get away with it. So unless they're discouraged by referees taking action, and I think players setting different standards across the game, we see more and more of it.
So when you look at both these things, Roberto, I think you come to, there's 3 things here. First, referee management. Mm-hmm. Second, how about Graham Lasso saying, unless the players take a stance, which I find to be probably very doubtful that would ever happen. You need an allegiance. I don't know how you form that. What do you form the play the game fairly club? I don't know. And but ultimately, it's the coach. And here's the real crime in all this is that in youth games across the country, you've got boys in particular. I don't see many girls do this, but U12 boys, they'll go to the referee. U12 boys, they'll feign an injury, or gesture towards the referee. Where do you think they get that? They don't get that from anywhere but watching more people. There's games on everywhere, and it's
their parents
and
their parents.
So the parents can guide it, and the coaches can guide it, and not tolerate it. And the one thing I will say, Roberto, and maybe some can dispute this, but under Pascal Janssen, I don't see any players doing any of this, like ever. I don't think I'm going to bring it up next time. I'm hoping to do an extended interview with him for my Sirius XM show. We'll see. But in the off season, it's just a matter of getting a hold of him.
I mean, there are times when New York City goes down very easily. There's no doubt about it. And they sell fouls. That they do. But that they stay down way too long, I mean, it's very rare. I guess it was one point, but also they understand the rule. Remember when Raul Gustavo did something similar, but like that he was staying down, and the players went over to him and, had to try to get him up. And then Pascal addressed it after the game that, you can't do that here because then you're out for 2 minutes.
Yeah, but he sprained his ankle. He played on a bad ankle the rest of the game. It wasn't like he wasn't feigning injury, but he stayed down longer, maybe because he didn't understand, as it turned out. This 15-second
MLS has separate rules to try to address this. But
I just think,
to me, it was a lack. I mean, to me, the big problem was in that melee. Okay, in that melee, Lionel Messi is chasing Maxi Moralez around for a solid 90 seconds. Everywhere he went, he was chasing him around. Moralez is trying to get out of here. Maybe he's saying something under his breath. I don't know. But Messi would not leave him alone. Messi found somebody who was actually shorter than him, and all of a sudden his bravado went up, and he figures he can bully somebody. right? And so he's going after Maxi, he's going after Maxi, and he's going after Maxi. And the referee at some point had to step in there and say, enough, get away. And if he's not getting away, give him a yellow card. You've got to do that. And he had zero personality. And as I said from the beginning, I had a major problem before the game, and I posted it days before the game with the assignment of John Freeman. And like everything I thought might happen with John Freeman happened with John Freeman.
Yep.
And people could say, well, everybody got the same amount of cards, except that New York City got all the cards first, and then Miami got them later. They didn't get them at the same time or for the same thing. And that whole sequence, that whole sequence was horrifically handled. How Jordi Alba grabbing somebody by the neck, isn't shown at least a yellow card there. Where is VAR in all of this? Isn't VAR supposed to help in all of this?
Well, by the way, Jordi Alba today got fined. The MLS disciplinary committee announced their, they have their midweek announcements. No suspension, but he was fined for that incident. So that's
congratulations.
Well, I'm just saying retrospectively, he's been fined.
It goes to my point. He missed it. The referee absolutely missed it, and the linesman missed it, and VAR didn't come in. And it was terrible.
And this is
and that's not the reason New York City lost the game.
No,
it's not the reason New York City lost the game.
The best team. Well, that was my point. Also, through all this, is that the best team won the game.
Yes.
It's just. I have such a distaste for what they do. Rodrigo De Paul, he could leave the league tomorrow. He's a good player, but if he left tomorrow, the league, I would say excellent. He bugs the hell out of me.
But again, this is a referee
because of how he treats people. Yeah. It's not because it's how he treats people. Not only the referee, but his opponents. Just shut up. He is the worst. And I thought,
but the referee, it's his job to handle it.
Well, that's no question about it. That's why. Well, all these rules that get added, 8-second rule, 15-second rule, all this crap. It should be managed by the referees, period. I don't want to hear about, they're not.
Well, the problem is that there aren't that many great referees in MLS and around the world. It's not just an MLS problem, right? And so therefore you need these rules because you can't have the same 3 or 4 guys doing every game.
So the best team won, but New York City cut it down to 1 on the Justin Haak head ball goal, which excellent for Maxi Moralez. 16th set piece goal conceded by Miami this year. So take advantage of those opportunities.
And they did it. They only got 1.
They did. Well, and 2 set pieces in the second half result. As brilliant as New York City was in scoring on the counterattack against the opponent's set piece in Charlotte and then in Philadelphia, they got burned twice by Miami on their own set pieces and getting countered and not prepared properly, apparently. And give credit to Miami.
With everything that happened, right? The game's 2-1. You start the second half. They force Rios Novo into making a terrible pass to Falcon. Maxi has the ball. And if he shoots there, maybe he scores. But he took 1 extra touch. And then the defense closed him out. So we had a second opportunity, a second bite of the apple, is to putting the ball to Fernandez Mercado. And Fernandez Mercado could have one-timed that into the back of the net. But he put it so far ahead of him that there was no chance to even get close to the ball. And then Miami just closed everybody down. And then you had the Fernandez Mercado, I think it was Fernandez Mercado, going to the end line and crossing the ball, and a beautiful one-timer by Fernandez. And Rios Novo made a great save on it. But both those chances could have tied the game, made it 2-2, changes everything.
Don't leave out the crossbar, the half volley by Gustavo that hit the crossbar. So there's another opportunity. One too. So, no, there were chances to make it 2-2. And those are all it's all 2-1 on all 3 of those.
Yeah.
But after the I think it was the Rios Novo save led to the corner kick that was countered to make it 3-1. So it went from being 2-2 possibly to 3-1 down within a minute. And that's what happens sometimes in our game, which
now the third goal, okay, again, when they pass the ball to Messi, there's two things that happen. Who is it? It wasn't Allende this time. Segovia, was it? Was it Segovia who scored that goal?
No. He scored later. No, third goal was Allende.
It was Silvetti.
Silvetti from Messi.
Okay, so there's two things. One, Aiden O'Neill just leaves Silvetti all alone. He just leaves him alone. He looks at the ball and starts going towards Messi, right? And I understand the Messi panic. Okay, Messi's got the ball, something's going to happen. So he goes there, even though he's covered. He goes there. That leaves Silvetti alone. And the second problem, and why it got scored, is that Thiago Martins fell asleep on the back line and kept him onside because he didn't pull out. He's just standing there. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't move forward. And that's what keeps Silvetti onside. If he's moving forward, Messi doesn't even see Thiago Martins. He puts Silvetti offside. And maybe he was exhausted. Maybe there's a million things, but he turned off at that moment. And and once a third goal happened, you're done.
Yeah. But it still was a counter off of a corner kick. It's your corner. And the numbers were not good at first off that counter. No matter how they were recovering, that's when you get a little discombobulated at times too. Fourth goal was Segovia from Alba. That was quite a counter off. That was a counter off the free kick. That's the free kick from 40 yards out straight away that Allende heads. He heads the ball forward and boom, that starts the counter. And
when I saw that, Glenn, I wanted to just stand up and clap. When I saw that back heel, right, for that goal, okay, I want to stand up and clap because that is a freaking masterpiece of a goal. And you hate that it happened against New York City. You love the fact that you witnessed it. It was absolutely a thing of beauty. You talk about running a counterattack and running it well and all that, and then you give him that ball and that back heel pass perfectly put on his foot. My goodness, that was worth the price of admission. It just was. And I hated the goal for New York City. Loved it as just a soccer fan. That was gorgeous.
Alba had 15 assists during the regular year, and then a brace of assists in a game.
He can still play. He's retiring. He could go another year.
Yeah, no I wish he'd still play. But so he and Busquets get one more game, and we'll see what happens. That's one to look at. San Diego beats, at home, loses to Vancouver 3-1. Down.
Hey, can I just one thing
down
before you
3-0
go?
at the half. Hold on one sec.
Okay.
And but go ahead. Yeah, that's it. Go ahead. And then
I wanted to put Kevin Rogers' comment on it because I thought the exact same thing when it happened. It's the one that says I still can't believe. Okay. That. Yeah,
he ran 80 yards and nobody ran with him. I mean,
but he ran 80 yards in the 67th minute. No, in the that was the 83rd. In the 83rd minute. These guys allegedly coming here, retirement league, go to the beach, enjoy Miami's nightlife. No. Jordi Alba's a baller. He's a freaking baller. And that play to make that run at that point, full tilt, okay, was extraordinary. And for especially somebody who's not exactly young, and this is his last year and he's about to retire and everything, people say people don't care, all the naysayers in the league. Just watch that goal. Tell me people don't care.
Okay. I think you've overplayed that. Not the fact that of the goal and his 80-yard run and all this other stuff, but of course he cared. I mean, he's playing in a playoff game for Miami. Are you suggesting game over? He shouldn't. He just would give up.
I'm suggesting that people believe that people come here and don't give a crap.
All right. It still happens occasionally, but not.
I'm not saying it doesn't.
Yeah, it still happens.
I'm not saying it doesn't.
So unbelievable goal. And his run off of Segovia was incredible. He just kind of curled his run into a path where Segovia could play. It was crazy.
Passed it, went in.
It was
pass, shot, goal.
Allende gets the hat trick, and 5-1 is the final. So this Vancouver game. This is going to be a game, man. This is going to be a game. And that Vancouver's opening goal, there are very few teams in MLS that could score that goal. That's all I'll say. Now they pressed, won the ball, but then it's this tight combination play in the attacking third, which is something that Miami does very well because these guys have played together for so many years. Partly, that's part of it. But you have two really, really good teams when they get close to goal. And so I think it's 3-1 the final. Brian White got the brace. Chucky Lozano got the San Diego goal, and after the game said he likes San Diego, he'd like to stay, and I guess that's still up in the air how that's going to go.
That was like, well, I thought you wanted to leave. Guess not.
Well, we don't know if they want him to leave.
That might
you
be.
Don't know.
That might be. In Leagues Cup, Vancouver played Miami.
Yeah.
And over 2 legs, 5-1 Whitecaps.
Yep.
So this is not a done deal for Messi and company. It's not a done deal. Vancouver's a really good team, and now they're healthy. They've got everybody. Gold is back. White is back. Mueller's playing at a high level. They've got a really, really good team. If they didn't get sick in Mexico, they're a hell of a lot more competitive against Cruz Azul.
Yeah,
probably should have beaten them.
No, it's not going to be any shock if they win that one coming up on the weekend after the World Cup draw. Hey, we've got kicking it around. Let's do that, and then we've only got about 10, 11, 12 minutes before the lights go out. So let's kick it around. All right, well, New York City FC has a new sporting director. His name's Todd Dunivant, and there he is. So he got here in time to get his photo and put it up from Sac Republic. So here's what I know about him. This is just general research, and then we could talk a little bit. And then I listened to a couple of interviews that he had done. But he's a native of Colorado. He played at Stanford University. He's a left back. He was one of the best left backs in MLS for several years. He's only won 5 MLS Cups as a player, Roberto. He got to the Final Four twice.
I thought he was good.
Yeah. So 4 with the Galaxy, 1 with San Jose, the Earthquakes. Stanford, he led them to back-to-back Final Fours. They didn't win the national championship back then, but he got there. He was a best 11 left back in 2011. So you probably, there's more of him about him as a player than there is really as an executive. He's a young guy. I think he's 44 now. Sacramento Republic, where he came from, they in 2014 they were an expansion team and they won USL Championship, first expansion team to do that. He joined them in 2018, and this is a story I hadn't remembered this as specifically until I went back, Roberto. But remember, they were awarded an MLS Cup team in 2019 while he was there as the sporting director and club president.
Yeah.
But they were supposed to start in 2022,
but the financing fell apart.
Yes, the bid collapsed. The investment was withdrawn. It was a real nightmare. And but in that same year, they became the first lower division team since 2008 to get to the U.S. Open Cup final, where they lost to Orlando. And another little piece of this, and we have to ask him this if we ever get a chance to speak with him, is that the Sac Republic accused Orlando City. Orlando City beat them 3-0 at Exploria down in Orlando. Mm-hmm. Sac Republic accused Orlando of spying on their practice. And there's a whole story behind this. Ultimately, Orlando got fined by the U.S. Soccer Federation. So they must have done something wrong.
Were there drones back then?
There were no drones. So what it was is like there was as it was put in this story I read, an Orlando staff member. It didn't say assistant coach. It said staff member. It reminded me of Curacao and St. Lucia, and these guys wearing the Curacao tops spying on St. Lucia. But and what they did is that then they moved to where he was observing. People noticed it. Somebody knew him and said, hey, no. And he goes, oh, no, I'm just here to meet a friend. So then they moved 2 large vehicles to block his vision from where he was parked, and he moved. And he moved so that he could see training some more. So anyway, that's just I thought that was a funny story. The only thing I gleaned, Roberto, from some of the just a couple of things from the podcast is it sounded like he's not fond of the best of 3 playoff. Now, I don't know how much influence he'll have there, but he said, you finish first in your league and then all of a sudden you have to play a best of 3. And he was very much in favor of the Jägermeister Cup, which added more games and intensity because he said it's another chance for a trophy. So he's going to be a guy that favors.
Which is the Jägermeister Cup?
That's the USL. It's like, I think it's in its second year. It's a cup for the USL champion. It's USL has a cup. So League One teams and championship teams can play. Yeah. It's like I don't know what to equate it to other than it's a league cup. And the League One teams and championship teams can play. Don't ask me who won it. Sac Republic made it to the final the first year. And so it's that's what we know. Somebody in our comment section has asked, what's his vision? Hard to say. We're going to know shortly, though, I think. We're going to know shortly. He's got some work to do with Justin Haak and Maxi Moralez, who, by the way, Roberto, I didn't know this. They tied an MLS record, each with their 39th consecutive start. I didn't know that until I read it this morning.
Yes, I heard that too. Great for them. And then as far as Trapito Ojeda, he played all 39 games. So those are the only 3.
But the first 2 are the ones that are out of contract. And
exactly. And, and New York City said that they were going to be basically talking with him. So for what we know, and through our sources, Justin Haak would like to stay in New York. That's his first preference. Okay. And the thing is that it's about money and how much money they're going to pay him and respect him based on what he believes he's worth. And so that's number 1. If he gets the money he wants, then he stays. That's his first choice.
But I think if that's what he is saying, I think you should look at the back line and see what a Raul Gustavo is making, for instance, and I wonder if wherever that. I don't recall what that is, but it's at least
somewhere north of 800,000, I believe.
Oh, okay. I was going to say it's at least $750,000. So
yeah. I mean, somewhere north of 800,000. So and you can look at everybody else there, who gets regular, who gets regular minutes. Now, Thiago Martins, his DP contract, I believe, ends now, right? I mean, that's done. But I believe he's on an option. Is that?
I think that's what I only know that because of Hudson River Blue put out what I thought was a pretty good outline of all the different possibilities, and that's what they had, and that now the decision is, do you somehow get? I don't know the machinations of all this, but you get him into a TAM situation, and then you open up a DP.
He spoke right. So now he spoke about what his wishes were. In one of I think it was in the post-game press conference, they asked him about that. And he's basically said he wants to stay, but it's not just, it's not just up to him. So we're going to see what the conversations of Dunivant and Martins are. And then obviously I think Pascal's going to have a lot to say with all of this on, how he wants to keep his defense.
Well, 7 players have had their options exercised. So Thiago Martins is one of them, along with Nico Cavallo, Tavon Gray, Max Murray, Kevin O'Toole, Tomas Romero, and Strahinja Tanasiewicz. So there was a question there, and they've picked up his option.
Okay, so they're staying. That means that they're done. They're done for next year. They're here.
Okay. So the club declined options of Prince Ampanza and Alex Rando, and there's no discussion that they'll be negotiating with them. So those 2
they've been let go.
Will not be on the roster. Andres Pereira had his option declined. The club remains in negotiations about his future. Let's make something clear because I don't think it's really out there. I see a lot of things written about. Look. He told us that he's got a broken fibula and it was a clean break. Surgery repaired it, and that in 2 months he's going to start working out again. So
yes,
the idea is that while he might not be ready for the very beginning of the season, he is going to be in a position, and you hope and that everything goes well with the rehab and that the surgery was successful, and it sounds like it was. That he should be back playing the way he was once he gets through the rehab and the mental.
Right. He should be back by March.
You got to break yourself through the mental reluctance sometimes to put it in. But so
he should be back by March.
Yeah,
he should be back by March. And I mean, he's somebody who suffered some pretty horrific injuries already while with New York City, and he's come back and he's played at the highest level he can. So he's played very, very well. And there's no doubt that New York City missed him. So he'll be back. He will be back. And we spoke to Alonso Martinez as well. And based on the timetable that he was talking about, he could be ready just before the World Cup, but most likely it's going to be post-World Cup. Because those injuries are normally 6 to 8 months. Torn ACLs are 6 to 8 months. That's the way they work.
It's not 6 months anymore, Roberto. I mean, I know enough people in the physical realm that no one comes back at 6 months anymore because it's proven not to be, no matter who you are. And I know they have all these tests and there's the analytics. Yeah. I mean, they test everything, but it won't be 6 months. And I think when you say after the World Cup, I think that makes total sense. That makes total sense.
And his injury is more severe than Perez. Because it's much harder to come back from an ACL. You're much better off breaking a leg than you are tearing an ACL. And then when you look at Martinez's game, then you know that speed is it.
Yeah.
That is one of the most important aspects of his game. Speed, reaction.
First and second step, the explosive steps,
that's what takes a long.
Well, that's the same thing with Malachi Jones, who at the end of the season when we went out to training the last couple of times, he was moving pretty well. He was doing non-contact pattern stuff in the attack, and he was moving, he was cutting, he was heading the ball. I mean, rising up into the air. So the movement was pretty good, and so he's moving along well.
Right, because with him, his problem was that the titanium rod that they put in the first operation just didn't hold very well. And so they needed to replace it with something, I guess, either bigger, better, and they did. So
so you got
so you're going to have him back. By the way, Keaton Parks is going to be back for spring training, and Malachi should be ready for spring training as well.
We shall see. So the last part of that is the loanees are still under contract. That's James Sands, Tyler Magno, and Jovan Mijatovic, who has.
Yeah, I saw their names there. I was like, really? I guess so.
Mijatovic has one goal since he left. One.
Yeah, he's not coming back. He's not coming back. Tyler
Magno's not playing for Corinth. He's playing off the bench, just getting some minutes. And James Sands is getting it done. And
Today, 3 New York Academy players were on the field at the exact same time. Reyna and Scally started for Mönchengladbach, and Sands started for St. Pauli, and St. Pauli won at Mönchengladbach 2-1.
Wow, they just played against each other. It seemed like they just had a game. So that's interesting.
I think that was a cup game or something, but
Okay.
So 3 Academy players for New York City were in that game.
That is probably a cup game. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Final thought. Our boy Eber got engaged. Did you see it?
Yay! No, I didn't.
The woman's name is Erica Liano. So just go on his Instagram. You'll see it. I just happened to. I don't know where I saw it because I'm really not on Instagram a whole lot. But but Eber is it's a German Cup. Thanks, Kevin Rogers, for clarifying. That was a cup match today, and that was a.
I was just about to ask, don't you have a book to prostitute or something?
I do. On Monday, it was released, the official launch, everybody. There's my name, which is actually real. And go on Amazon and whatever.
Order yours now.
Whatever support you could provide would be great. And look it is number 1 on the new releases in soccer coaching. And that's as of today. So look, I'm ahead of Mark Clattenburg. I'm ahead of James Pierce. I mean, he's a famous author, so I don't, but it's No, it's been fun. And I mean, there's a lot of work to do in the marketing side of things. But if you do happen to get the book, please write a review on Amazon, because apparently that's what helps keep it like in this position that it's in now, the good reviews. So, and if you don't like it, I guess you could write a bad review too, whatever.
I guess just write something like, well, I bought it.
I bought the book.
It's on paper.
Yeah, but it's fun. And it's volume 1, Roberto. Volume 2 is going to come
Volume 1, exactly.
Volume 2 before the World Cup. Thank you, Kevin. And Volume 2 will come out about a month before the World Cup with a special World Cup chapter.
Misael asked if there's an audiobook.
There is not an audiobook, and I could go into that except to say, if I'm going to do an audiobook from interviews I've done on the radio,
might as well just publish the damn interviews.
I can't. It can't be done. It can be done, but the amount of time and effort and expense and permission from Sirius, which I might not get because that's a subscription service. So I haven't.
Oh no, you'll get it as long as you.
Yeah. So I haven't pursued audiobook because of just writing one book. Come on. I'm dying here. By the way, Sirius XM FC, my show comes on at 9:00 tonight. If you like Brazil, you want to listen. Zeca Neto, he's a director for the San Juan Soccer Club in Northern California. Wonderful guy. I've become friends with him. But the Brazilian way, creativity versus structure as young boys growing up. That, and he brought
Throw
that here
ball
to his
out there.
club.
Have fun.
That's right, baby. That's right. All right, Roberto. Well, we should announce that this is going to be our final show of 2025. So happy New Year. And we'll
Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. I don't know what I'm missing.
I don't know. But you'll see us again early in the new year. We'll get back and see when Shane's around and then go from there. But thank you so much for those of you who have joined us each week or whatever weeks you've picked out. And it has been a good year for New York City FC. Let's face it. They
really has been.
This year, 3 Eastern Conference finals in 5 years. So as a club, that's fantastic. That's exceptional. And now, it's the offseason, roster moves, who gets added, and all the entertainment. But Pascal Janssen, he wasn't one of the candidates or nominees for Coach of the Year, but boy,
he deserves it. And David Lee, by the way, deserves a mention for Executive of the Year for the signings that he was able to bring in and to take this team, which nobody expected to be. Forget about making the playoffs. I mean, you talk about getting to the conference finals. Nobody had that. Absolutely nobody had that.
No.
And he deserves kudos. He really does.
Especially preseason. The pundit, I think the highest thing we saw from the pundits, we don't pick. We don't do that
14th.
stuff. Well, no, it was like 8. It was like 8.
Oh, somebody had them in the playoffs? One of them
somebody had them in the playoffs.
All right.
Somebody had them in the playoffs. So, yeah. All right. Well, we'll be able to rehash that and get ready for preseason. Boy, when we get back, preseason will be just a few days away. So it'll be fun. But thank you again for Roberto. I'm Glenn, and thanks to Shane, our producer, and everybody at the old Sickville. And have a good night, everybody.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast NYCFC Views on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.